Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is an honor to have been asked to represent a group of people who I have grown to respect as colleagues, as mentors, and as friends on this warm Mauritian evening at ALU's grand opening. I'm here to take us on a trip down that winding, sometimes bumpy, but always beautiful road that bore our team over the last 2 years as it grew from 10 dreamers filling up whiteboards with circles, lines, and numbers in Johannesburg to this incredible group of 80 that has already seen 176 students from 33 countries in Africa through 6 months of challenging curriculum and undertook all the hard work that has us all sitting in this breathtaking space. Welcome. Now, each of us has a specific story, a specific journey that brought us to where we are today. And for me, that journey began in New York, where I was working as a financial analyst. While I'm grateful for the opportunity to have been a part of that world, I know that I needed to make a change in order to tap into the passion that I know I need to be able to build on my passion for education in Africa and my desire to put the pen into African hands to tell our stories, to truly realize our potential. It is essential that I acknowledge the support I got from my family in that decision, especially from my mother who is with us tonight. Take a bow. Ma, thank you for your support during a time when most people called me crazy for jumping into the relatively unknown. And I can only hope that others who choose to take the path less traveled have people as supportive as you are in their lives. Now, I'm not the first, and I'll certainly not be the last to make that decision. And I believe that there is a true beauty in the realization that you are accessing parts of yourself that allow you to enter that flow state where the magical becomes normal. Now, there's no space where I've been a part of which has embodied that beauty quite like the ALU team. When I arrived in August 2014, there were no more than 10 people in a small office in Johannesburg. Even then, it was clear that there was something different and something very special about this group. There was a sense of family that has remained even as we have grown. I vividly remember my first check-in with the group, standing on ALA's campus where we were working. I was standing in a circle with Alyssa, Nicola, Johan, Kuram, Fred, and others who aren't with us here right now. And I was asked to list my priorities for the day, express any needs for support, and tell everyone how I was feeling. Sorry? You want me to tell you how I'm feeling every day? That was one of the first indicators that there was something very different happening here. Because since then, for every day for 2 years, this ritual has allowed me to know how everyone I work with is feeling, and even more, to know how we can weather some of the roughest storms out there, because together, we share a vision, and we care about each other. Since then, that family feeling has only grown. When we finally outgrew our original office, and I'm sure most of the people who were there remember this, we rolled up our sleeves and painted our offices together and the offices in Sino-Seal in Johannesburg, with the artists among us leading the charge yelling, "One more coat of paint, one more, no, we need one more," to others among us offering more moral support. That familial energy has been complemented by the team's restless drive for excellence. And one of the best examples I can think of to illustrate that is the design process for our curriculum and our learning model. Now, students think they're getting a lot of feedback from faculty during class time, but students, the only reason faculty gives you so much feedback is because during that design process, Kuram, our team, and a slew of education experts from all over the world give us more feedback than most people will get in a lifetime. And we are stronger than ever for it. So remember that the next time you're sitting in mandatory office hours. In designing our first discovery, asking effective questions for the project's course, I still have flashbacks, sometimes happy, sometimes not so happy, flashbacks of sitting in a room with Kuram, Steve, and a host of ALA staff, presenting initial designs and facing questioning that made those office hours look like Sunday school. What does that idea mean? Where is your thinking going on this, Kwasi? Why do you keep on asking us for plantain chips? Through a process of incessant iteration, we stripped our thinking down to distill the most vital and relevant learning for our students and their success, and built a curriculum from self-work readings to experientials around those outcomes. Let's fast forward to October 2015. At the end of our first week of classes in ALU in Mauritius, when this cycle was being delivered for the first time in the institution, we were wrapping up and synthesizing at the end of the first week. And a student raised his hand to share and said, "Before this week, I used to think that as you grow older, you need to ask fewer and fewer questions because you are growing older and you know more things. But in the last week, I've learned that as we grow older, we need to ask more and more questions because we are learning more about the world and it's opening up to us and we need to understand it." When he said that, I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps because that single shift in thinking will serve him well not only here at ALU, but long after he graduates and changes Africa with his leadership skills. Our young founders experience mental shifts like this every day across their core curriculum that will allow them to maximize their potential and leave their own beautiful mark on Africa and on the world. Students, with the education that you are getting, you will be able to break down barriers around collaboration and critical thinking that have held many people back for a very long time. As you embark on that journey, I would like to share with you a few words that my grandfather, Alexander Edun-Kwapong, may he rest in peace, told me before he passed away. He said, "Dua a esi bepɔw so, ɛnkyɛ tenten yɛ." That means, if a tree is planted on top of a hill, it does not take long before it is considered tall. Be humble as you approach the world, in your studies and beyond, and let your beautiful spirits and exemplary work speak for themselves as you tackle and solve issues that have troubled us on our continent. Already, we are seeing examples of students taking initiative in the short time that they've been here. From Michael and Sharon taking on the mammoth challenge of coordinating transportation for students all over the island, to Lorenda and the Cooking Club, blessing us with treats from heaven every day. To Dennis and the Ubuntu team for keeping ALU fresh with their haircuts. We thank you. And there are many others who have allowed themselves to shine in ways that feel natural to them. And that is all we can ask of you. Brace yourselves. We are flying into the eye of a hurricane. But if there's anything I've learned from my time at ALU, it's that life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning how to dance in the rain. And I can assure you that we are going to Azonto, we are going to Zouk, and we are going to escatter our way into the future with smiles on our faces, love in our hearts, and lots of feedback. Thank you.